One. Hello, and welcome to episode 35 of JDUB and Friends. My friend this evening is Madman. How are you doing tonight, Madman?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good to hear.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling Madman before, I said I was getting ready, and then I was like, crap, I gotta do laundry because I have no time to do it tomorrow. So, yeah, I kind of had to push back a little bit for everybody that's expecting 7 o'clock. So, sorry about that. But, yeah, I was thinking, I'm like, all right, what can I do? And then I was like, well, we could do interview type. And I was like, well, I've kind of done some interviews with Madman, so I'm just gonna wing it a little bit this episode. But I do have some stuff that I had thought of that we could talk about for sure. But I do have some news with the Minecraft movie coming out. Have you ever played Minecraft?
I have. I actually forgot that was actually happening. Still happening. That sounds bad, but it's just there's just some movies that you see that you're kind of like, oh, this is not going to work well. But at the same time, there have been movies where I've gone in with that thought process, and it turned out to be pretty good to the point where I'm like, all right, they actually caught me off guard. But it's just like, well,
Yeah.
what they're doing with the Minecraft movie is like I still remember seeing from the trailer like the joke when Steve was like, when I was a kid, I wanted to work in the mines, and I'm just like, are you serious? This is what we're actually fucking going with? Because when Minecraft was first, I remember when Minecraft was first released, and oh man, so many people kept asking me over and over, do let's play this, do let's play this. And I'm like, guys, there's not much. I mean, first of all, I couldn't do PC games because my gear was to give you guys an idea of what my computer was. It was running off a Pentium 4 processor at the time. Let that sink in of saying like, oh, that thing was underpowered by God knows how long. But it's just the idea of like, because historically, video games to movies has always been a curse. Only recently, there's only one movie I saw where I was like, okay, they actually, with my wife, we saw the Uncharted movie with Spider-Man as Nathan Drake, and they actually did a pretty decent job. I was like, okay, they're not really, they kind of semi-follow the games, but they also created kind of like new treasure. I was like, all right, they actually did something pretty decent with this one. Because there are some media where they take the source material, like the Ghost in the Shell movie, which I know that was met with a lot of negative repose, but I kind of went in with an open mind. I'm like, listen, I'm glad you used the source material, but you don't need to use all the source material. They literally crammed like 3 movies into one movie, and I'm like, you didn't need to do all of it. You could have just done one, and I would have been fine with that.
Right.
But a lot of times, if you get blessings from the original creator, I'm like, okay, as long as you get blessings, then I'll be like, all right, the original person created something, approved of it. But this Minecraft movie is just, I mean, I'm a person who I need an objective. I need something to do. Like in Minecraft, it's literally just a sandbox. It's like being put in a sandbox as a kid. It's just build whatever you want. Me, I'm not really a builder. I'm more of a fighter. So, I mean, I know nowadays they've added so many fucking updates to the point where you're like, oh, I got so much shit to roll with. Back then, when Minecraft first started, it was very, very bare bones. I mean, it was, yeah. So,
just build something and show your friends, basically.
I made a square house. That's the other thing about Minecraft. It's like you go on the internet, you see people make literal works of art, and then you look and here's my mud hut that I made out in the middle of fucking in the middle of a swamp.
Exactly.
That was actually one thing I remember doing when I did it. Eventually got around to doing a Let's Play of Minecraft, as I did fucking reference to Monty Python's and the Holy Grail. I was like, they said I was daft to build a castle in the swamp. I did all the same, just to show them. It sank into the swamp. Luckily, this one didn't sink into the swamp, but I did that the whole entire time because it's like, oh, they made a giant head. The achievement hunter. They built a giant stone tower. They built all these multiple houses. I got a fucking shack out in the middle of the swamp.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Well, the reason I talked about Minecraft. I'm sorry, this is going to be edited out. That's why I'm not talking at the moment. But the reason I said something about Minecraft is saying they won't go free to play. Because Minecraft is the best deal in the world, apparently.
I mean, as long as they don't go too crazy with the price tag, I guess. Like, if they go, like, we demand $60, like everybody else, or whatever Rockstar is planning to do with GTA 6, making it $100, I'm just like, as long as you make it a fair price, then it's like if they say it's $20, I'd be like, that's pretty fair. Especially for how much shit, also as long as it's a one-time thing, because let's face it, there are some games and corporations where they're like, no, you need to have, it's $20, but then we have these battle passes that constantly add more shit, and it just gets to the point where it's just like, can we just pay one damn price and just move on with our lives like a normal corporation?
Yep.
But then, welcome to America.
Yeah, apparently they're making the visuals better. Um, gonna kind of make it prettier, as you guys can see on my screen. Making it pretty. Yeah, there's that one. There's that. That's pretty looking. That. I guess they're making it more vibrant. Sorry. They're making it vibranter.
Isn't there like thousands of mods now that you can make it vibrant as much as you want?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, they're so apparently they're not going to do that, but they have also said Mojang, the company, has said that Minecraft 2 is not coming.
Which is kind of a good move because it's like, for example, like what they're doing with Rainbow Six Siege now is they're not planning to make a separate game. They're just going to keep pushing and pushing to be like, we're into this season, like, because God knows everyone's trying to avoid the botch that is the infamous Overwatch 1 going to Overwatch 2,
Mm-hmm.
because we're trying to avoid that again, because that was brutal, especially with the paywalls, all this, all that. They pretty much gutted everything.
Yep, I think they could. I mean, there's so much stuff they could do with Minecraft. Like that. What is that? That
Dungeons?
Pokemon, the Pokemon one they
The
have.
Pal World thing.
Yeah,
That was weird. I'm sorry. It's all cute and adorable to have Pokemon, but when you start making it into labor and sometimes with guns, I'm just like, okay, I like to
yeah,
get off the LSD trip now.
yeah. Somebody I forget who it was. Somebody released a a Pokemon in Minecraft for a while too, which was cool.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's if it's cool to be like, hey, you can travel with me as a partner, not carry my backpack and carry a 45. I'm just more like, okay, let's not get into that crazy territory.
Let's see. Yeah, they have the 15-year-old game, 15-year-old platform. That technology slows them down. But they said it's still the most popular game in the world and has so no signs of slowing down right now. Uh, yeah, Minecraft in the future, not going to happen. They said, are we going to get a second Earth? And they said, nope. So that's kind of why they said they're not going to have Earth or Minecraft 2 too. Yep. And as you all know, I am talking to Madman tonight. He's on
Hello.
YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch.
That
So,
is correct. Actually, and I feel like I'm legally obligated to do this now. And we'll be streaming tonight some WWE 2K25. So if you want to see me get myself punched in the face repeatedly, there's your
yeah,
spot.
exactly.
I want to tune in and watch my favorite person get punched in the face.
Hmm.
Technically, I think I summed up the whole entire show Jackass with that, but it works.
Right. Yep. And he did. Yeah, you did the elimination chamber matches, predictions, and all that stuff. So that's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
that's what I like to do with these WWE games, especially with PLEs coming up. I want to do like prediction matches, just kind of like be like, all right, here it is. Here's the stats today. Let's actually have everybody.
Hmm.
Let's have it wrestle and do all that. Honestly, it's kind of cool. Plus, it's also kind of gives you an idea because I'm not trying to do this, but I remember because one part of having ADHD is sometimes you can figure out like plot changes, story changes, and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Because originally a while back, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, by the way, this is a spoiler, by the way." But if you were even on the internet for a little bit, you already know about this. But a lot of people are kind of like, "What if John Cena goes heel at Elimination Chamber?" And I kind of now, as a person, I'm a fan of wrestling, but I'm also a fan of like looking behind the scenes of WWE 2. So I'm like, I kind of sat there and I kind of went like, all right, let's look at the possible storylines that we can do with Elimination Chamber. Like,
Hmm.
okay, if CM Punk wins, he'll probably go for after John Cena, or not after John Cena, after Cody Rhodes for the title, especially since right now the Jey Uso and Gunther storyline is going pretty damn good. Everyone's staying hype on that. And then I looked at, like, for example, like Logan Paul winning the Elimination Chamber. I'm like, he's still brand new. He just came back full time, so I'm like, you
Right.
can't really slap gold on him just yet. So I'm like, I mean, they're all possibilities, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, these aren't really stories I would go for. But with John Cena winning the Elimination Chamber and going to WrestleMania, because I'm like, I could definitely see Cody Rhodes turning down the offer. But then I'm like, what if, because someone actually was like, what if Cody Rhodes is like, what if John flips? And I was like, that is a possibility. That is an idea. That is a possibility. And I looked at that storyline like, yes, he would take the deal, and they pretty much be like Star Wars almost, like with The Rock being Emperor Palpatine and him becoming Darth Vader. So now, so I'm wondering now at WrestleMania 41, is there going to be a part where Cena is going to realize I made a mistake and basically defeat The Rock or do something and then retire on a high note? Because I'm like, I mean, with John Cena, the person himself, he's done such a great run as a face. I mean, he also has done a great job as a heel, but I'm just kind of like sitting there going like, is he really going to end the career as a heel? I'm like, that's that kind of sucks. I mean, unless the person's like specifically like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a heel for my whole life and I like being the villain. But John Cena, I can't see him as just being a heel his whole entire ending his career at the heel. So I'm expecting at WrestleMania to kind of have some sort of fucking
Right.
Star Wars Return of the Jedi style ending. But the only thing I can see is that is he gonna, but if he does land a flip, does that mean he's going to still stay in the WWE, or is he actually officially retiring after WrestleMania 41? Because John Cena is up there in age. To give you guys an idea, John Cena joined the WWE when I was still in high school back in 2003.
Yep.
So that means he's been in the business for 23 fucking years.
Yeah, he's been there a while.
In a field where basically you're getting thrown around like a sack of potatoes.
Yeah, I made a joke about him turning heel. I said, "Oh, now that he's heel, we can actually see him."
But do people really want to see John Cena? No.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Go ahead.
No. I was gonna say, so far, like that scene, that video. The thing that sucks the most is, well, my wife and I, we actually did go to Monday Night Raw, and every commercial break they would show like the video of him betraying. I'm like, I get it, I saw it. It's like not really shocking anymore. It's getting annoying actually.
Yeah.
But then they would splice in the footage of seeing kids' reactions to their hero turning evil, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is so painful to watch. Because there's some kids who are like legitimately in shock. There's some who are crying. There's one video footage of one kid saying he now hates John Cena while he's sobbing. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, dude, I like WWE because as an adult, I'm like, okay, I can enjoy this performance from multiple fields. Like, okay, I know it. Yes, it is choreographed, and they know, and it is predestined. But you could still enjoy the show as if it was a Marvel movie. But it's like some people, I was like, for these kids, they think this is real, and to see their hero flip like that, I'm just like, geez, hello trauma, hello emotional damage. Yeah, insert emotional damage meme here.
Yeah, I was like, I had said something. I was like, oh yeah, they'll probably turn Cena heel. It's a great time to turn him heel. It's like,
oh yeah, absolutely,
best run, last run, and nobody would expect it. I'm like, people are like, no, it's his retirement run. He's not going to turn heel. That'd be dumb, Like, no, I think they can make a lot of money with a heel run of Cena, and I love, basically how they run it, how they kept the same music, kept, his whole spiel about, hustle, loyalty, respect, all that stuff. Still on his clothes and all that stuff. He hasn't changed anything. It's like, huh, okay, this is clever.
That's another thing I'm wondering. Are they kind of using this as kind of like a pilot to be like, all right, we can change a character, but we don't have to change the music, the energy? Because that's what they've done. Even recently with Street Profits, when they made them tag team champions, they changed their music. It's like the idea with them is still the same and everything, which is pretty cool, but it's just they changed the actual music tone, which kind of sucks because I did like their old song because it sounded like something from Saints Row, like Saints Row 1 and 2. So I was like, all right, this is actually pretty awesome.
Right.
But now it sounds like their music is going the Saints Row reboot. Yeah. Okay. But I mean, they didn't change, so I'm just wondering: is it possible they're using this as like a pilot to be like, hey, listen, we can change the person's storyline, we can change who they are, but we don't have to do like this full recap, revive. We don't have to do this whole entire thing. So, I mean, but then again, Cena's been in the company for 20 plus years, so. When you're someone who's been in the business that long, they generally kind of like, and bringing that popularity, they kind of give you more freedom compared to someone who's first year just out of NXT or another indie circuit. So there's possibilities. But I'm just wondering if they're planning to do that because a lot of people do want Jim Johnson to return doing music to WWE because a lot of people don't like, as well as also the contract for the music people currently will expire soon, and they don't plan to re-sign. Which, that would be kind of cool. Triple H has really done an amazing job with creativity, rewriting, because, Vince was a bit of a psychopath with some of his choices. But...
yeah, true.
But yes, but with this, I feel like this is going to be really cool, especially with WrestleMania 41, because I feel like now with Triple H, with WrestleMania, every event ending now has to be better than the last, and, well, let's face it, the last WrestleMania 40, the last event was pretty much like the first Avengers movie ending, so it's kind of like... yeah, you guys are going to have to really do some crazy shit. And also, the other thing is, like, guys, you're in Vegas. You're literally surrounded by money. I think you can ask one of the casinos, hey, can I borrow $10 million? Here you go.
Right.
Or you could be like, hey, can I borrow $100,000? What's 1,000?
Right, exactly. Yeah. I'm kind of thinking, I'm like, how are they going to do this? And then it's like, when he came out to the same music and the crowd, like, popped for a second.
Oh.
And then you hear the loud boos afterwards. It's like, this is perfect. And then the way they're running heel Cena is perfect too, because he's not like doing all the stuff that heels usually do. He's basically telling you the truth about everything that's happened in the last 23 years. And you're like, oh, that's true. And then you're thinking about it, you're like, oh crap, am I the heel at this point? Like it's kind of like making the crowd the heel too.
Are we the baddies? No.
Yeah, it's like we don't care what, we haven't cared about what John Cena's done for the company. We got upset when he was Super Cena, and all this other stuff. And it was like, and, you're getting angry that you're like, why am I, why is he telling me all this stuff? And it's like, oh crap, it's because it's true. And then you think about it, it's like, no, but I guess we'll see what happens. But the other big thing with Cena, I think, will be if he actually gets number 17 or not.
That's the other thing. Will anyone break Ric Flair's record?
Yeah.
Which because that's the other thing too. That kind of brings up, since Cena's really trying to play off like the whole thing. Because Charlotte Flair, when she returned, she immediately was like wanted to be a face. She was like, I want to return. I want to be good. And the fans literally just said, shove it.
Yeah.
And it kind of sucks because, like, guys, come on. I understand, yes, they kind of built her character based off her father's legacy, doing all this, and it's like, I understand that, but give her a fucking chance, all right? She's still a human being, and now she's going full heel mode again, which I'm like, I feel like she's only doing this because she literally had no fucking choice. Even WWE probably went up to her and sorry, we tried. We fucking tried. And she's like, you know what? You did try, and if they want to hit, now it's kind of like, is she gonna try to do like the Joker speech where she's like, you know what, with all this going on and everything?
Yeah.
But I'll say this though, I've got a feeling the women's match for WrestleMania is definitely going to be very interesting. Because first of all, the cash-in was really, really good.
Yeah.
As well as also doing this, it's going to be very interesting. But at the same time, hopefully now they're adding matches left and right for WrestleMania, since they literally have they only have like 30 or less days than that before that. And also, am I the only person who finds it fucking funny that WrestleMania is going to be on 420? Right. Vegas, you might want to be doing some scans, as well as not just looking at the people, but take a sniff around the room. Just be like, oh yeah.
Yep.
Now I know WrestleMania 39, we did have Snoop Dogg, so he gets a pass. He gets a fucking pass.
Right now there are six matches set up for WrestleMania.
So they are doing that triple threat match with Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins. That's gonna be, because all three of them. They originally could have done another. I feel like, now that I actually think about it, I think they could have done Reigns versus Seth Rollins, but they did do a title match back at WrestleMania 30. Was it 31? It was definitely one of the 30s. But they probably wanted to avoid another repeat of that, so they probably got CM Punk involved. But honestly, all three of those guys hate each other, so. Which, in character, a lot of times when I speak about these wrestlers, I speak specifically about the character, not the actual individual people. But then again, there are some wrestlers who hate the other person in character and out of character. So Seth Rollins and CM Punk definitely have that energy. Actually, as a matter of fact, when they came to Buffalo, when CM Punk came out, Seth Rollins came out, and all they did was there was no talking trash on the mic. They literally just saw each other and just started beating each other and walked around the arena.
Yeah.
And originally, when they were going to schedule the steel cage match, we thought we were going to get a steel cage match in Buffalo, and they're like, next week. And I was just like, oh, you son of a. But the actual logic behind that was, apparently Madison Square Garden, it's historic for WWE matches that be a steel cage match in Madison Square Garden, which I didn't know, because that when they were airing it on Netflix, they were showing the history of all the steel cage matches in Madison Square Garden. So I was like, oh, I get it. That's why you did that stunt. I was like, that's pretty cool. I always do kind of like it when they do historic stuff, just to be like, here's the reason why we've been doing this. And it's kind of like, oh, I get it.
Yeah, the one I think two of these matches, I think this one.
Randy Orton.
They're not building Io Sky and the Bianca Belair very well. They're kind of bringing in Rhea a lot more, and it seems odd. But we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, because Io, she can move. She can do a lot of crazy stuff. I mean, I can see the argument of like Io's not really getting pushed, but at the same time, she can move. Like right now, they're doing the story of her like standing up for herself, which I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool because generally Io always gets pushed to the side, while the usual women's champions are always kind of like saying, "Where should be deserved? We deserve it." Because yeah, in Buffalo again is where Io was crowned women's championship. Which, by the way, Buffalo is definitely a Rhea Ripley territory. I mean, as soon as her music hit, the pop was just like, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, this is the Randy Orton Kevin Owens match. I think is also. I think they're gonna change. I think it'll be them, but it will probably be like a no holds barred or like
Unsanctioned. Just basically, it's going to be brutal. And they're probably going to turn Randy Orton back into the '09 Orton, which they will bring in the punt kick back, which I'm like, every time I see that kick, I'm just like, how do you set that up so everybody's all right at the end of the day? Because that kick can be one too many inches to the left or to the right, and then you're getting a boot in the face from a full run.
Yeah.
But also, there's also the historic myth that anytime Randy Orton's punted someone, they end up going to AEW.
Right.
So we're making a joke of like, is Kevin Owens' contract about to be end up? You going to AEW?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Do you think they changed the title for on Gunther, or do you think Gunther's going to retain?
I honestly want to say they're going to change titles because, I mean, don't get me wrong, Gunther is pretty cool as a wrestler, but title-wise, he really hasn't done a lot of great, like, standout matches. He's just been like, I'm big and brooding. I'm like, yeah, all right, that's a lot of other people. I mean, his IC run was pretty cool. Like, they broke so many IC run records, but also at the same time, you ended at 166 days. WWE, you might want to work on that a bit. But I will say this, though. I do want Uso to win because he brings in so much entertainment, so much money. So to put a belt on him would be one of the best moves ever. Mm-hmm. I mean, anytime he enters the arena, the yeeting, also, by the way, United States, France, and now Germany and all these other countries have been beating us in yeeting as well as singing their intro music. We need to change that right now. Yep. Because I've seen, like, when you have an arena, like, even 2023, was it 2023? Was it 2024? I'm trying to remember which Backlash was in Paris.
2024, I think.
2024, because I mean, they sang Cody Rhodes' theme. They just sung the whole entire lyrics. Even after the music was, like, cut out, they were still singing it. Not to mention AJ Styles, they were singing that Phenomenon song to the point where the camera was bouncing up and down. I'm watching this, and I'm going, like, United States, are we getting our asses kicked in this field? Right. I mean, and not to mention also recently with SmackDown and Raw to see these matches back in Europe and you hear the stats. Like, recently they did Italy. They said it's been 18 years since they were in Italy. I was like, 18 fucking years? And I was like, okay, 4 of those were COVID. You can't, the world was on shutdown. But 18 years? I'm like, shit. But also to see all these European countries just watch, like, when they tune in as well as they show up, they're showing their flags, they're screaming their hearts out. It's like, I'm like, this is why we watch wrestling, people. This is just awesome. It's just, it brings people together to watch other people beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah. Yep, very true. Speaking of beating the shit out of each other, did you see AEW last week with Jon Moxley taking nails to his back?
Wrestling is fake. Points to this scene. That is prime example. I will say this, though. When I saw it, I was like, oh, like, even when I first saw the photo of it, I was like, oh my God. At first, my first thought of my process was like, well, John, you're technically trained to do this, but another part of me is going, what made you agree to this? Right. Because Jon Moxley has been notorious for doing hardcore matches like nobody's business. I mean, he did go through, when he was in the indie circuit, he did go through CZW, which is historic for hardcore matches. I've still seen some, you can Google it too. Honestly, some CZ matches of Jon Moxley when he's young, when he had hair. Nothing against him personally. It's just, that's how young he was. When you see some of the hardcore matches he's been in, it gets worse than that. I've seen him in light tube matches. I've seen him take a weed whacker. There was even one match up against, I think the guy's name was Brain Dead. I think that was his name. That alone should already give you an image. There was a Thanksgiving match where he used a turkey cutter against Jon Moxley. I think it was a turkey cutter, but I'm just like, to see the nails, I'm just like, yeah, it sucks. But I'm like, dude, you've been through worse. You took a weed whacker to the chest, and this should be But this is another example of how when some people say, wrestling is fake, right? You just show them this photo and be like, show me where this is CGI.
Yeah.
But there's just some moments where I go, AEW, I'm like, it's kind of cool that AEW is trying to like capture that ECW energy, but it's at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I know you're trying to be like ECW, but in some matches, but it's like, ECW still had some safety regulations. Right now, you guys are kind of like throwing that shit out the window. I mean, you want you guys to, live, because there have been some people who pointed out that if that spike, that piece of wood with nails, if it would have gone possibly any lower, we're talking possibility of paralyzation.
Yep.
So, which I'm
Stabbing
like,
the kidneys.
yeah, I would say, Moxley, mad props to you. Hopefully they gave you a $1 million paycheck that night just for that one stunt. Because, yeah, if someone said, like, yeah, we're going to put this in your spine, I'm just going to be like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I feel like when AEW first started, it felt like there was like reasons for, like the violence and reasons for, this and that. Like the story either needed it or it just kind of, was like, all right, nobody's done this in, years, let's do it. And now it just feels like it's like, all right, let's just do it just to do it at the point.
It almost kind of feels forced. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
For Tony Khan, I appreciate that he's trying. He really is, but, dude, it's like, yeah, especially since your history. I mean, I've seen so many other stories where people are like, oh, this person got injured, this person got injured, and then you look back at the footage and go, like, this could have been prevented, man. This could have been. It's like with safety. Generally, you want the safety to already be first with the higher ups. Right. You don't want other wrestlers. I mean, if a wrestler saves another wrestler after it's an isolated event. This person tried to jump and they missed it or they miscalculated, because I've seen footage of Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels catching each other because someone overextended or did this. But it shouldn't just be 100% right on the wrestler's responsibility. It should just be general safety, man. I mean, that's why I've seen AEW matches where the guardrails are literally just those steel barricades, and I'm just like, yeah, but I know WWE has those giant blocks, but I'm like, yeah, those things are protected for a fucking reason. It's all fun and games until you smack your forehead on a piece of steel like that, and you're wondering, how long have I been out for? 3 weeks. What?
Yeah, that's the thing that's always, like, it feels like when WWE, when Mick Foley was doing stuff, it was, it was needed to be in the story when Mick Foley did, like Hell in a Cell with Undertaker, where he got thrown off the top and then went through the
yes.
middle. Yeah, I mean that was never seen before. It's never been done before. But he wanted to show that he was also, he was tough and he was gonna, weak or give up or anything like that, and knock yourself out with a chair that's coming down and hitting you in the face. I mean, like, there's stuff that he's done that, was like, all right, this is important to this story or whatever. Now it's like, do we really, at this point, what's this? Do we really need this in the story at this point? It's not really important at the moment, but I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I still love about that Hell in a Cell match, Mick Foley falling off, getting thrown off, that is still iconic as hell. That image is forever burned into my skull. I will also say this, though. I'm glad that the Hell in a Cell, like the actual cell itself, has been reinforced. I mean, because I still remember watching this one video where it was Undertaker and Mick Foley rewatching it today. Yeah. And they were saying, like, oh, yeah, there's a part here where we're walking across the top of the cell, and they're like, yeah, we have, like, zip ties holding it together, and, oh, there's one where it pops off. I'm like, I'm glad today it's reinforced as fuck. Makes it even makes it look a little more intimidating, too, when you're seeing it's, like, completely, like, welded to where it looks like an actual, like, structure. Like, it almost looks like a boss battle.
Yeah.
Because, for example, I actually remember seeing a while back, before leading up to War Games of this year, they actually showed old school episodes of War Games. And the cell looked like something that I'm like, did you guys just throw this together on a budget? It looks like just chain link fences that they just welded into a box. Not as giant, not as open. I'm just like, this is not War Games. This is war skirmish. This is pathetic. But I'm like, this is back in the day, and that's the other thing too, is like watching old wrestling matches compared to today. You're like, wow, we have evolved.
Yeah. Now, what do you think about the whole I guess NXT TNA connection right now?
I haven't watched NXT or TNA. I occasionally do watch clips of it, but I kind of like the idea of the TKO merger, where it's like,
Hmm.
oh, all these things are under one entity, so hopefully it'll give extra protection, extra exposure,
Yeah.
extra all this. Which I'm like, yeah, everyone deserves a fair shot at the spotlight, especially if they have moves. I mean, AJ Styles was on TNA for the longest time,
Yep.
to later bring him over to WWE. Because I remember when I was younger, I would always be flipping on basic cable on Sundays or Saturdays or Sundays, and it'd be like the recap show. They're like, this on TNA. I was like, where the hell are you guys? I've been trying to find you guys on TV, and they're like, yeah, we're not on there. I'm like, how the fuck are you even functioning? But every time AJ Styles did a move, I was like, holy shit, this guy's like Rey Mysterio, and that was awesome. And today he's still pulling off some moves. So when I heard AJ Styles was welcome to the WWE, I'm thinking like, this is fucking awesome. This is perfect. But at the same time, I'm kind of more like, I want more not diversity, but like options. Like, so even though AEW is, well, yeah, I do like the idea of like, okay, there is AEW. I do like the idea of TNA, but at the same time, I like all this all being under one flag where everybody can get exposure. Even with NXT, there is that new WWE show Evolve where it's literally they just brought on new, which I was like, this is awesome. We can not only can we get a massive preview, but we can also see like the actual process of it too. Because won't lie, ladies and gentlemen, I have looked into possibly doing pro wrestling because I'm a fan of it, and I'm like thinking. Plus, I can also use it as motivation also to get back to like getting better exercise, better working out, and stuff like that. But then occasionally I see some injuries and go, you know what? I think I'm fine where I am. I kind of like where I am right now, intact, because it's just the idea of a knee injury or a spinal injury or a neck injury. Bleeding, I'm kind of made some peace with, but I'm like neck injuries, spine, knee. I'm just like, nah, man. Especially you see the pec injury from Cody Rhodes, the one injury with Triple H.
Yep.
What the concussions that so many wrestlers have gone through. I'm just kind of like, it's like a part of me is like, I want to try this, but a part of me is kind of like, dude, you want to die? And it's like, not really, but
Exactly.
Exactly. Especially in my hometown, there are like multiple indie circuits, but at the same time, it's kind of like, I kind of like being able to walk.
Right.
Even though DDP right now is doing an amazing fucking program for helping people like wrestlers. I mean, I've seen the footage of him helping up Lex Luthor or Luger. My apologies, Lex Luger. What? Lex Luthor is from Superman. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was exposed to Superman more than Lex Luger. I'm sorry about that. But also, even Abdul the Butcher is getting training through DDP, and he's saying he's helping him. So the fact that he's trying so much, and on TikTok, DDP has done a lot of like work with helping with mental health and everything. That's the other thing I like about some wrestlers after they're done. They keep going, but they're helping in different fields. Sometimes they help with the show. Sometimes they help out with the people themselves. Like Mick Foley. Anytime I've heard people say they meet Mick Foley, he's the best guy to meet. He's always positive. He's always happy. He's always like willing to talk to his fans. Because I've heard some stories that some people said like Bret Hart, which he's one of my favorite wrestlers. He's a little stiff, and I'm just like, he's always been a stiff. Yeah. He's tough. That's why he's the hitman. But he still gives you time of day, because there are some wrestlers who are just literally just a person, and I'm like, okay, you need to get hit with a bat repeatedly to get some sense smacked into you.
Right.
And then,
exactly.
Hey, John Moxley, can you come over here for a second? No. Take that bat off your bat and hit this person.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see what happens. I mean, I think the WrestleMania is gonna be good. It's gonna be 2 nights, obviously, so there's still a lot of matches that haven't been announced yet. So
yeah, not to mention also the 2-night formula. They're planning, I think next year they're doing it to SummerSlam.
Yeah,
which I'm like, that's a good idea, because this year for SummerSlam I was like, dude, are we still fucking going? I'm tempted to just hit pause and go to bed and come back later.
Well, see, I feel like making other shows 2 nights takes away from Mania. Like, it feels like Mania with being 2 nights is like a big deal, and now you're gonna make SummerSlam 2 nights. It's like, okay, I guess.
The reason why I can see that is because WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, and Survivor Series, these are like the big 4. These are like the events where they're like, okay, we got some massive storylines we need to pull out, or make some changes, or bring people in. So I kind of like, plus it takes stress off the wrestler. So it's like, okay, you're going to this, but you're not going to be performing this night. So it can give you, because some of these events can go on for like 4 or X amount of hours. I think remember one PLE was like 8 hours, and there's just like I can be like, man, I'm just like I know I work 8 hours, but I mean like yeah, I just sit in front of a computer for 8 hours. I can only imagine getting beaten for 8 hours. So I'm just
right.
And at the end, I just want the wrestlers to be safe. I mean, corporate's still gonna make a crap ton of money, but at the end of the day, when you got people getting flung around like a sack, it's just I want these people to be safe as well as healthy.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens with WWE in the future. I mean, it's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
either, I mean, they're right now they're the hottest they've been since the Attitude Era.
Oh yeah, the
So,
Netflix era. Which, by the way, fun fact, I just want to throw this out there because I do this. Ladies and gentlemen, obviously here in the United States, we get Monday Night Raw on Netflix. Now, I just want to throw this out there. If you have a VPN, because we all know about region lock content, because apparently that's a thing.
yeah,
But if you have a VPN, you can watch SmackDown on Netflix. I've been doing that for the past couple weeks, and yes, we have a Netflix account paid for, so it's not like I'm mooching off anybody because I know they're combating that. Well, actually, all streaming apps are combating that. HBO Max is just the one going insane, saying they will sue.
yeah.
Which I'm like, that's a little overkill.
Right.
But yeah, I use a VPN, and I set it up through England.
Mm-hmm.
Which is this is funny. It's just like I'm watching an American show through England, technically 8 p.m. Eastern. I use England so I can watch it on there, so I can watch Monday Night Raw and then Friday Night SmackDown as well as PLEs on all that. Which I'm not gonna lie, as a teenager, this has been one of my biggest streams of all time. Because when I was watching wrestling for the first time, our TV only went up to channel 21. That gives you an idea of we had basic cable. So the fact to watch SmackDown on Thursday nights, again, this is how far back it goes, to watch it on Thursday nights, I would watch it every Thursday night at 8 p.m., channel 16. I would always tape it if I had space or a blank tape. Yeah, sometimes on Christmas, I asked for blank tapes for Christmas, and I got it, and it worked. But I always wanted to watch Monday Night Raw because I knew, like, oh, these PLEs are always going to be like this, and they're always going to be cross stories in this. And I remember my dad would sometimes tape it for me over at his place, and then I would go over the next day, get the tape from there and watch it, and that's how I would used to watch. Now it's just like, oh, I have streaming apps up the wazoo where I can watch these events or these PLEs. Hell, even past PLEs. Because sometimes even watching like the old wrestling, like WrestleMania 4 or WrestleMania 10, you're kind of like, well, first of all, once you bypass like the video quality, you're like, oh yeah, back then this was considered high tech.
Right.
Just to see that stuff today is just like, wow. Plus, also sometimes seeing some of the wrestlers in their prime, you're kind of like, whoa, that's what you look like.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Especially the Saturday night. That was one thing I did like about WWE is the fact that they're bringing back Saturday night main events just to kind of, as well as Jesse the Body Ventura, just to see him kind of like walk down the line, just kind of like, yep, I'm here. I'm just like, wow, dude, you're still in great shape and still kicking.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Since we did talk a little about wrestling, on
to the next subject.
Yeah, we're going to talk some video games today. Is there any video games that are coming out this year that you're excited about?
Well, first of all, I just want to bring up Assassin's Creed Shadows because originally I got that for my wife as a Valentine's Day gift.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen from the footage and everything. I swear to God, it's almost like a fan letter to Ghost of Tsushima. I'm not saying it's Ghost of Tsushima material, all right? I want people to know that immediately because I don't want. I already get in trouble with the PC police. I don't want to get more people on me. But it feels like a fan letter to Ghost of Tsushima. It has the vibe of it. It has the weapons of it. I mean, well, okay, it's in Japan. Big whoop. But I will say this, though. As a fan of Ghost of Tsushima, I've looked at this. Ubisoft is starting to turn around, which I'm like, all right, that's pretty cool because they've done a lot of dumb shit. But I feel like with Shadows, they kind of realize, okay, we fucked up with the series, but let's try because opening day, 2 million players, which I mean is pretty cool. So right now, I guess you could say Assassin's Creed Shadows has more people playing that main game than the multiplayer of Call of Duty Black Ops 6.
Yeah.
Which that's another, but also another game that's coming out soon, which is the 27th next week, is Atomfall.
Yeah.
Which I'm looking forward to because it feels like it's going to be a British BioShock or British Fallout, which I don't know why. Post-apocalyptic games have always been a favorite of mine. Maybe it's just because it's a game that makes you think. Kind of like thinking, how the fuck did we get here? How do we lead to this? How did this fucking happen? And then there's sometimes I look in the news and look at shit today and go, oh, that's how it happened. Like, for example, with Cyberpunk, with 2077, they've done the Neuralink, they've done this, they let corporations go, and it's like in this world, it's like, yeah, all this is fancy, shiny, and cool, but in reality, we're more fucked up than ever before. And then I kind of go like, how the hell are we going to get to there? And Tesla and Elon's working on a Neuralink where you can, like, right now, they're with that program, they've actually shown like what it is, as well as also the fact that they can move a cursor with the just by looking at it. I'm like, we've already started. We're working that way. Which a part of me is kind of like, oh, thank God, we're not going down zombie, or we're not going down Dying Light, we're not going down Fallout territory. I'm like, okay, we're not dealing with that. Okay, good. We don't need a massive war. It's just. But then in the Cyberpunk universe, they're like corporations literally declare war on one another to the point where I'm like, how does a corporation fight against each other? And I'm like, is it really wrong that I'm like, I wouldn't mind seeing two corpos fight against each other. Spend your money. Right. Fight each other in the street.
Yeah. I'm actually looking right now, as people see on chat. The 2020...
I pulled it up too, so I can see what you're looking at too.
Yeah, most anticipated games of 2025. I mean, obviously, these already came out because they were January. Donkey Kong Country Returns, which was on the Wii. It's a fun game.
Is the Wii? Yeah. The Switch. But I'm sorry. It's just like I wish it was on the Wii because that was a good system. But I will say this though, for Donkey Kong Country Returns, is it because with Switch games, when it comes to me in Switch games,
it's hit or miss.
Exactly. It's kind of hit and miss, but I'm like, is this like the original SNES just with HD graphics? Because if they actually did that, I would maybe drop some money down because Donkey Kong Country is one of my first side-scroller games when I was growing up as a kid, which I was like, whoa, these are graphics? Because when you go from let's put it this way, when you go from Super Mario World on the SNES to Donkey Kong Country on the SNES, that's a massive fucking step.
I mean, it's a pretty game.
Oh, there's a demo?
I think there's demos for it. Yeah, and it came on the Wii originally, and now it just got remastered.
Oh, that's why. Well, I apologize for my little humor, but is it wrong to say that some of the graphics kind of remind me of the Donkey Kong cartoon show that they had? Ooh. It looks like they're combining Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2 together, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a demo for it. Right, it's $80 on Switch, which is way high. Where it came on the Wii, it was $50.
I think I'll wait for GTA 6.
Yeah, Marvel Spider-Man 2 came on the PC this year. You had your Kingdom Come, Deliverance 2. Which
I've seen the trailer. I saw the trailer for that. A part of me was originally I didn't play the first one because it kind of looked a little like they were really pushing the Crusades and religion envelope. But after seeing the second trailer, I was like, all right, you guys are actually trying to be kind of open worldish, but not going too crazy. Because I mean, that's the thing about the Dark Ages around that era. A lot of it was kind of pursued by God wants us to do. I'm just like, you just want land, all right?
Yep. And then your favorite series released a new game this year. Did you get it?
Nothing will ever replace Civilization Revolution. I'm sorry, because I've tried to play the other numerical games, and it's just, I'm sorry. When it takes 20 turns to build one fucking building, I'm sorry. It's not going to click with me. I played Civilization Revolution. That's what we need. We need another. I mean, I'm all for Civilization games that capture the original energy of the first game, where it's like it will take massive amount of times, but can you make another Revolution game? Because I feel like that's a good idea because it'll speed up the process, it'll streamline it, but at the same time, you'll get fans into the series. Like I felt like Civilization Revolution was like a good idea of like, let's have fun, let's actually enjoy it, let's be a little cartoonish. This is where it gets a little serious. I still remember when I did my first Let's Play of Civilization 5, and it got to the point where I was like, if it takes this fucking long to build something, it builds this, and then it's like I actually have to play politics with another country, and I'm just like, can I just... Okay, I won't lie. When Augustus Caesar showed up, I originally just told him to go fuck himself right out of the gate. Because historically, Rome has never been a friend of mine ever since. And I do have a small amount of Italian blood, but it's just like Rome has always had a bone to pick with me in every game. Don't even get me started on Gandhi. As soon as I saw Gandhi in Civilization 5, I was very tempted to shut off the game. I'm like, nope, not doing this shit again. But these numeric games have just... It's just... It takes forever to do stuff, man.
Yeah. Avowed came out this year. which was the 360 or not 360, sorry, Xbox Series XS RPG, which is one of the few that is still exclusive to the Xbox. Most of the other ones are going to PS5.
Seen I've seen footage of it. I mean, visually it looks beautiful, which
Yeah.
is great. But this is another game where I'm thinking like maybe mechanics over quality can be a little bit different, because someone actually did a comparison between Oblivion and Avowed, where one of them showed like, oh, if you were in a store and you swiped your sword around, you can knock shit over, like it actually has weight to it and this stuff. And in Avowed, there's people literally using their fire spell and it's not hurting anybody. They're just standing around as if they were just built into the background. And I'm just kind of like, I don't know, man. I mean, visually it looks beautiful. It feels like it feels like a letter to that. But I was just kind of like, I don't know, man. Sometimes, and okay, they do have guns, but so it little thing, but it's just like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it kind of reminds. It looks like a World of Warcraft kind of, sorta.
Like I said, it feels like a fan letter, which I'm like, I'm all for it. I'm all for that. But at the same time, I just like having certain freedoms, especially when you have an older game that has the same thing and has that freedoms where it's like, oh, if I actually do this or do this, there's a possibility of, oh, the law's gonna be on my ass. So it'll teach me like discipline, like, oh, when I'm inside, maybe not have my weapons, know what buttons use what spells, like. But at the same time, I got a feeling maybe they'll make like someone will make a mod or something where they're just like, oh, we fixed that or done this. But I will say this though, Obsidian, they're the same people who've done Fallout New Vegas, so
They might make it right.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. So they know what they're doing, but I think maybe it's just. But then again, when it comes to me and fantasy universes, it's kind of like to really get into a game, you need to know the lore, you need to use the world, and I'm kind of like, do I have to really do a whole? Brings up the will this be on the test?
Yeah.
But I'm just caught up in the world of sci-fi. The Yakuza games, the Like a Dragon stuff, that stuff just makes me kind of go, what the hell am I looking at? Maybe it's just because I used to prefer GTA over Yakuza. Maybe it's like when I think of crime games, I'm thinking of like serious stuff, kind of like the GTA Mafia franchise, where it's like you see the internal turmoils, you see the wars and stuff, and then you see this stuff, and it makes you kind of go, what happened?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're into like stuff like that, more power to you. But I'm just more like, yeah, I kind of like the serious stuff.
Yeah.
Especially when you can shadow clone yourself, apparently.
Yeah, apparently. Look at the monkey. Samoa Joe's
monkey.
Samoa Joe's actually in this game.
I did see the footage of that, which is pretty cool, because if that was another thing with AEW, anytime Samoa Joe is there, I'm just like, okay, they're done filming, they're done, because Samoa Joe is going to be in the season 2. I mean, he is Sweet Tooth in the live action series of Twisted Metal on it, which I'm like, that's fucking cool. And by the way, people, he fucking nailed it. I mean, it's not his voice who's doing it, but the way he's acting and he's able to move around, you feel like he is Sweet Tooth, and he fucking nails it. I remember seeing an interview where he was saying, like, you know, he's worked with luchadors and other masked wrestlers, so he kind of learned, like, okay, when I have this mask on, even though you can't hear my voice or see my voice, I still have to act as if, yes, and he does an amazing job with it, to the point where I'm like, he is Sweet Tooth, and he can do as much damage as Sweet Tooth, too. So I'm like, yeah, go ahead, go up to him, tell him he's not Sweet Tooth, see what happens. I'll speak highly at your funeral.
Yeah, his eyes show it. It's supposed to, shows all what he's feeling, but yeah. Yep, Monster Hunter Wilds.
Never got into that franchise, which I'm like, I like hunting stuff in the video game world, because one, you're not actually hurting real life animal. I'm not saying that I'm a PETA person, but I'm just like, like, obviously you hunt and all that stuff, but it's just like, I don't like to hurt animals. Oh, people in video games. Oh, that's a different story. Right. But it's just, but in this world, a lot of these animals, they're literally monsters. Like, you have, oh, here's the poison, this, and you look at it and you're like, oh, yeah, you need to die. But also the other thing with Monster Hunter is, I've seen on TikTok, some people have actually captured WWE wrestler energy. One person made Rhea Ripley, which immediately I'm like, oh, don't even give her a weapon. She'll just use Riptide on something and kill it immediately. Or Roman Reigns, which I was like, oh, so we should see a spear?
Yeah.
But that's the one thing I do kind of like about some video games, is the creativity of the community, that they can just make something so, like, accurate, to the point where I'm like, yeah, how are you not in this field as like a career? Like the other thing about like WWE 2K games is the community creations where people make their own characters or they make famous people. I was just like, holy shit, you do an awesome job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fiction came out this already few weeks
Mm-hmm.
ago.
There's already talks about a movie or a series.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see how it is. I don't really care to decline, I guess.
I mean,
But yeah.
I'm glad to see that co-op games like couch games are making a comeback, a resurgence, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, co-op, you play, invited play, friend you play free with the friends pass, blah blah.
I like that too because with Way Out, like, oh, you own the game, and then someone's like, hey, come play with me, and they're just like, I don't own the game. They're just like, you can play with me no matter what, and I was just like, that is a good fucking strategy.
Right. This is
And then
good.
no, I was gonna say because that not only promotes the game, like, hey, you don't have to pay extra money, but at the same time, it promotes the game for people want to hang out and play, and it's just like that's what we need more of.
Yeah. Somewhere Chugga Conroy is thrilled because this came out 2 days ago, Xenoblade Chronicles X.
No,
Which
nothing about this field, so I'm in the dark.
um uh if you watch
Whoa.
Chugga Conroy had a let's play of of X Xenoblade Chronicles that came on the Wii. This is like the third game in the series and the definitive edition, so they've had a lot of different games, but it's an RPG um that it's been pretty excited for people, but up airs this came out 2 days ago too, which may have hurt the sales on the definitive, but Assassin's Creed Shadows came out 2 days ago. There in
Again,
Japan.
again, a fan letter to Ghost of Tsushima
Mhm.
because it literally from some of the cutscenes you look at it, you're like, what? There's
Yeah.
like if you went in and like if you didn't tell anybody about Tsushima and you showed Shadows, you kind of be like,
Yeah.
"Hmm?"
What's the difference?
Well, mainly to developers, but beyond that, but it is pretty cool. I will say this though, I feel like this game definitely got some unnecessary hate because of some like footage and like for example, there in this game there are like religious shrine because this is an open world game where it's like clearly if you hit something, there's gonna be weight to it, like you're gonna do
Yeah.
something to it. And of course, a lot of people are like, "Oh my god, this game encourages you to." It's like the guy was just literally destroying a shrine because this person chose to destroy a shrine. They didn't. The character isn't doing it themselves. It's the person driving the character, and it's
Yeah.
just like because some people showed footage of like, "Oh, I went to this religious shrine, I prayed
Yeah.
there, and then I moved on." And I'm just like, "See, at the end of the day, it sometimes breaks down." To the gamer because sometimes they want to blow up some steam. Sometimes they
Right.
actually want to pay tribute to the culture, and that's the other thing I feel like. That's the other thing I kind of like about some Assassin's Creed game is if you're a historian, you're gonna love the historical vibe to it. Which, yeah, okay, after Syndicate, they kind of went a little free with historic, but I'm a fan of history, so I was like, all right, this is pretty cool.
Mhm.
But if you're a fan of like learning cultures and stuff, this is also kind of a nice little gateway too, kind of like learning like, all right, this is what this is because it's feudal Japan. Well, actually,
Yeah.
technically this it took place 300 years after the events of Ghost of Tsushima in their timeline, not saying that. So I just kind of laughed at it because I was like, "Whoa, the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima is supposed to take 300 years after the events of Jin," which I was kind of like, which kind of made me go, "Sucker Punch, you got your lawyers on standby."
Yeah.
Killing Floor, I just never understood. This game is kind of weird.
Yeah, it comes out in 3 days. Hasn't released yet. I never was a big Killing Floor guy, so we can
It's
skip
if
that
you
one.
it's if you like the Call of Duty Zombies, you're gonna love that.
Yeah.
Oh wait, wait. Oh, did this list didn't have Adamfall on there? Because it's coming out
apparently not.
next Thursday. Well, that's again, people. It's I think it's going to come out on PC or Steam first, but think of it as British Fallout meets British Bioshock. Honestly, I'm tempted to play it because honestly, it looks pretty cool. Plus, I do kind of like. I got a feeling there's going to be some British humor in there, and I'm a fan of Mike Python's comedy and skits, so I got a feeling I'm going to be like, oh, this is going to be fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Apparently, this is South of Midnight. Apparently, this is kind of like I would say, yeah, kind of like Monster Hunter. I would say a little bit.
My only question is what kind of cryptids? Because that's another thing of mine that always kind of caught my eye was cryptids, like learning about monsters and demons and stuff. Because every culture has their own interpretation of it. Not to mention also some of it they're like, well, we've seen this, and I'm like, okay, that's something. But sometimes it's like lessons that they teach people to be like, oh, don't do this, don't do that. I'm like, oh, don't tempt the devil. Yeah, I know that. That's everywhere. No,
Right.
but so there's some cryptids that are pretty cool, like the
Oh.
Mothman has for like predicting destruction and chaos. There's this, there's that. So it kind of catches that. So well, that one I'll probably put on the list too. A Southern Gothic adventure. Ooh, I've heard of Goth Country before, so that actually might be a little interesting, because especially the infamous Crossroads. I mean, that's where the devil is supposed to retain.
Right. Fatal Fury, which I think is a
Beat 'em up.
resurrect. Yep. Back
Yeah.
in the day.
We
Last of Us.
we will need. I think honestly, I think the beat 'em up genre needs to make a comeback. I mean, we've made some games already, but I think we need another like renaissance or resurrection, because maybe if Rockstar makes a HD remake of the Warriors, and
Yeah.
after they're done with GTA 6, because there's a lot of fans of beat 'em up games. I think you don't have to go with fighting games. You don't have to go complex like ultra combos or memorizing combo lists like for Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat. Sometimes you can just do a simple, just tap the X button or square button repeatedly, and that is satisfying to see somebody get punched in the face. I mean, the Warriors game. This game was a game that was released back in 2004, I think, on fucking PS2, and it still has a huge fucking following. Not only just because of the fans of the movie, the book, but it still has a following to this day. And it's a fun beat 'em up game. I just recommend. Well, unfortunately,
Yeah, it's on PS2, PS Plus, or PlayStation Portable and stuff like that.
Unfortunately, what they did is they did a PS2 port over to PS3, and then later a PS4, and then you can technically play on PS5. But because the machine itself is so powerful, there's graphical glitches here and there, so it's kind of painful to look at. But if you really, I do recommend that game. It is fun, especially since it's that late '70s gang warfare. So it's like mainly like brawling in the streets. It's not West Side Story where we have to like just snap as you're like walking forward. No, don't worry. There's no jets or sharks. It's just mainly just a fun third person semi open world beat 'em up. So, but honestly, I think we're overdue for like a renaissance of that, because honestly, I think people would enjoy that. And then, ladies and gentlemen, the game that has been split down the center since day fucking one.
Yeah, they got Last of Us Part 2 remastered again on like 4 consoles now. Be on the PS3, PS4, PS5.
Nothing will ever beat Skyrim being remade and remastered and re-released on every console for God knows how long.
Yeah, the Capcom Fighting Collection, which I'll probably pick up. Capcom versus SNK, Capcom versus SNK 2, Capcom Fighting Evolution, Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper, Power Stone, one of the greatest games on the Dreamcast, one of the best fighters of all time. Power Stone 2, which is expensive as all get up, but is incredible too. Same company made Power Stone. Project Justice, which is another Dreamcast fighter. Plasma Sword, which I've never heard of. I'm gonna guess it's probably on, at some point on Dreamcast. But yeah, that Power Stone is so good.
Yeah, all of that and a partridge in a pear tree.
Right, and that comes out hopefully in May. We'll see though. And then Doom, Doom: The Dark Ages.
Doom is all dark, so I'm just like, what is this, next Tuesday? No.
Yeah.
But just to see this is, I mean, I still remember the weapon where it takes skulls and it just grinds it in the bullets. I mean, honestly, you don't even need to have a story. You just be like, we're in the Middle Ages, you're the Doom Knight. Perfect.
Yep. Yeah, this one's apparently is a prequel to Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal.
So, well, that's kind of a good idea. So if someone's like, well, I haven't played the first 2 games. This takes place before the first 2 games. You're in the right budget, in the right place.
Yeah, I haven't played Doom or Doom Eternal yet, sadly. I played the first 3, but I haven't played the newest one yet, so.
I do recommend it. It is really awesome.
That's what I've heard.
But just as a warning, it is definitely fast-paced. It's definitely, which, I mean, like, it's pretty cool, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, I don't know, can we just do I'm also a fan of Doom 3, the original Doom 3, which I know they kind of like at that point they were just like we were trying to do kind of like a reboot, but I will say this too, I kind of like how even though it's demon stuff, they kind of try to do the whole idea of like demons are from another plane of existence. It's not like, oh, it's a religious thing. No, it's a literal plane of existence. It's an alien race. It's this, which I was like, I kind of like that. It kind of made me start questioning like, is hell really like this mythical holy thing, or is it like they just saw into another realm and then it's like, oh shit, there's something else out there? I mean, even Arthur C. Clarke said it best. There's two possibilities: we're either alone in this universe or we're not. Both equally terrifying. I'm just thinking like maybe we did see something. Dune, I have no idea about. I know it was a book, and then later they made it into a movie, and I've never, yeah, I've never seen the movies. I've never read the book, so when I look at this, I'm like, I know Dune is a big part of sci-fi because it's part of me why I kind of to read the book because it was a massive part of the sci-fi community, which is pretty cool. But at the same time, I'm just kind of like my ADHD. Anytime with books, when my ADHD kicks in, we're like, all right, let's take a look at this book. Oh fuck, that's too thick, and it's like, nope.
Yeah.
But that's just how my brain works.
Yeah, that's good. Dune's gonna be coming out in PC only, so we'll see how that is. Lost Soul Aside. Apparently it's gonna be a PS5 fast-paced combat reminiscent of Devil May Cry or an RPG.
Fluid combos.
Yeah, S combos. That's taking forever to load. Oh, they don't really. I guess yeah. That kind of looks like him. Kind of looks like Dante.
Just with the black hairstyle instead of the white. We're different. We made him different so we can't get sued.
Right. Yeah, that kind of looks like.
That looks like a machine.
Yep. Kind of cool.
Are they trying to capture Venom? I'm sorry, that thing just has reminiscence. It's a biomechanical Venom.
Yeah, this thing's that's a big area.
Wait, can you go back to that boss real quick? I swear, I thought that thing, and also that red planet looks like something from Destiny. But I swear that thing looks like this. It's like that skull creature from Yu-Gi-Oh, the one that Cardi has, like skull something. I forgot. It just looks exactly like him. Even has the horn.
Yeah.
I think they're.
What's it called? The oh my goodness, I can't think of the name of it.
Give me a moment. Let me pull it up on my phone.
Summon Skull. Summon Skull.
Summon Skull? Oh my god, I gotta see this now.
That's where Summon Skull is.
Give me a moment. I'll take a look. Because now there's some moments where I was like, I need to know. Yep, there it is. Summon Skull. Skull. There it is. We got the Summon Skull is represented in the next game. Take that as you may be. Maybe it's enough. Maybe people will be like, I gotta fight Summon Skull. I'm like, well, he was one of the best cards in the deck. So.
Yeah. So we'll see how that one is. I haven't heard anything about it. So, Elden Ring, Night Rain. Apparently, it's a standalone co-op roguelike spin-off. Tests up to 3 players to survive in clinical day-night phases, culminating in deadly boss fights.
I suck at those Souls-esque games, but it's. I will say this though right now: these games I suck at, but I want to know because first off, the art is fucking amazing, the lore is amazing, just the amount of effort and everything that was put into the game was just amazing. And also, Randy Orton is also a fan of Elden Ring too, which is pretty fucking cool. But just the. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's like one of those games that's like as soon as you learn more about it, it makes you want to play more because they don't. That's the thing about Souls-esque games; they don't tell you how to play or tell you the lore. You need to figure this shit out on your own. So it's kind of like if some people are like, "Oh, I don't get this," it's like, yeah, how far did you try? How far did you scratch the surface to know this? So it's kind of like if people are like obsessed with this and they can tell you everything, it's like, oh yeah, this person logged a lot of hours. But I felt like Elden Ring kind of like really put in so much time. And the thing I loved most about it is the creator kind of went, not my masterpiece, not there yet, but I'm going to be there soon. I'm like, what else do you have in your fucking wheelhouse? This is amazing. This is nothing. Jeesh. And the final game, will this be the third and final act, ladies and gentlemen? Dying Light the Beast. As a person who's a huge fan of the Dying Light franchise, the first Dying Light game actually made me afraid of the dark again because of that day for night cycle. Especially, you ever hear the phrase, something goes bump in the night? Well, I've seen what goes bump in the night. It's got big teeth and it's pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah, volatiles, man. Because that's the other thing about this game is, like, this takes place, I think, way after the events of Dying Light 1, but I think like maybe a little time after the events of Dying Light 2. But
Yeah.
the thing that sucks the most is our hero, Kyle Crane, I think he's starting to change, and not for the better. Like, he was able to like fight off the virus for a while, but we're now thinking he's turning slowly into a volatile, which is, yeah, the thing that he's basically burning with a UV light right now. That's what he's possibly going to turn into. A big, ugly ass, superhuman, predator like monster. Whoever created the volatile had to be a fan of the Predator franchise. Maybe a little inspiration from H.R. Geiger with the idea of a perfect killing machine. Let's just say a volatile is the definition of what you think of a monster that goes bump in the night.
Got it. Yeah, I haven't played Dying Light yet. Apparently, this is what's supposed to be based on what they're saying here. It was once playing as DLC for Dying Light 2, but then it
And
blossomed into a standalone entry.
yeah, kind of like what happened with Far Cry New Dawn. Originally, it was supposed to be DLC, and then they kind of just it kept getting pushed back, and they kept adding more and more to the point they kind of went,
Yeah, screw
another game.
it. Yep. There's another Five Nights at Freddy's coming out. It's PS5 only this time, which is crazy, and PC obviously, but
Fucking clown.
yeah,
Pennywise knockoff.
Five Nights is pretty fun. I like Five Nights games.
We can all thank Markiplier for the way the game is now is.
I'm sorry, this game here,
Hails of the Shire? What?
more power to people that want to play it, but it's I don't know. It's like Animal or Harvest Moon with Animal Crossing mixed in. It's just kind of eh.
It's an acquired taste. It's an acquired taste because there are some people who just want like a simple lifestyle. Like like for example, I'm a person who likes Dying Light, where it's like I like fighting zombies in the day and at night running away from the volatiles. And then there's some people like I just want to be able to live in a nice little village. Which, if you know how the rest of the world's running, sometimes a nice little village is what you need. And then we got the granddaddy of them all, Metal Gear Solid Delta. Even though it's gonna be 3 always in my eyes.
Yeah.
Snake Eater. But I mean, this is the game that kind of, in the timeline, kicked off the whole entire Metal Gear Solid. Yep. So, if you guys want anywhere to start, this is it. This is fucking it. I'm looking forward to it because I'm a huge fan of Metal Gear. When I was a kid, I never got into it, but that's another thing. It's like when you play some games as a kid, you're kind of like, I don't get it, and as an adult, you're like, whoa.
Right.
Especially a person who studies Cold War and government and all that. This game is the idea of like what if scenarios. Like, oh, the United States made an atomic bomb. We started doing this. Yeah, well, what if Russia made a giant fucking machine that decided to launch a nuke?
It is weird that the Metal Gear, when they're redoing the remakes and everything, is not going to have Hideo Kojima behind it.
It is going to be a kick in the face because without him, it's not.
Yeah,
but because Konami went batshit. I would love to see a movie where they explain why Konami went nuts. Because I mean, Hideo Kojima, this is his creation. All I can say is they better have a inspired by, or like pay some tribute. If you don't, then you're gonna piss off a lot of fans. Right. But at the same time, it's like this is from the footage I've seen and everything. It's awesome, and we have a revival.
Yeah.
Not only of that, but the next game, the Shinobi.
Yeah, I went down. I was like, oh, yeah, Shinobi active for Art of Vengeance. I think this is a side scroller. I think
so.
Yep, kind of like Instead, I like the PS2 version. I know it's gonna get heat for that, but I thought the PS2 version was pretty good. But I mean, I don't hardly have anything. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be a 2D, 2D action platformer. So it's gonna be side scrolling. So we'll see. That could be good.
Sometimes some games click better that way, because I remember the game Blasphemy. It was just a simple side scroller to this, but they kind of had some Souls energy to it, especially with the art, the imagery, the combat system. But I was kind of like, this is fucking crazy. And then I get sidetracked with other games. Like, for example, like Mafia Old Country. I have played Mafia 1 and 2, which those were really cool games. These are games where it's kind of serious. Like, GTA is kind of like, GTA can be serious, but then there's moments where it's goofy as fuck.
Yeah.
But the Mafia franchise have always kind of hold that serious tone to it, where it's like, I'm like, all right, this is pretty cool. And it's another prequel. I do like prequel games sometimes, because so when you get people who are like, I want to start somewhere, I just don't know where. I'm like, this is where you start. It's the most recent one, and it's a good place to start. I will say this, though. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say the first two were free on PlayStation Plus for a while, too.
Oh yeah, and Mafia. But let me just say this: Mafia 3. This is where the game they were like, okay, gloves are off. Let's show you how America was back then, especially since you're playing a Vietnam veteran who's African American. Because
Yeah.
every time in that game, every time you boot up the game too, they would say like a giant disclaimer, like, "Listen, this took place in late 1960s and 70s. This was a different time. This was an era where prejudice and racism was running rampant." So they're like, in other words, we can't be held responsible if you get offended by what a character says because this is the timeline.
Right.
But I'll say this: anytime I was walking in the game and some punk said something about my character, let's just say fists were definitely thrown, and I won.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, I'm really gonna get pushed around by a person who's just sitting on the stoop drinking a beer, and you got a Vietnam veteran walking around. That's the other thing too. It's like not in that game. Not every white person was racist. There was one
No.
guy who was just like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" and just be like, "See, voice."
Right.
But the mafia old country is gonna be pretty cool because just the idea of seeing like the actual mob forming is gonna be pretty cool because it's rise of it. I mean, if you've seen the Godfather movies, I mean, you kind of sort of see it. But yes, the third one is up for debate.
Yeah.
But 1 and 2 are definitely perfect. I understand they made a third because the studio is kind of like, hey, make us money.
Yep.
Hey, we want money. Yeah, we see you over there. but this is gonna be pretty cool, especially since this franchise they definitely put a little more time into it, and Borderlands 4 is getting dark. Like the trailer, just seeing like I always saw the psychos getting the masks as like the rite of passage of just like, oh, they're just choosing to do this. In that trailer, you see them literally forced into a mask and then they change completely. So I think after Borderlands 3 in the movie, I think they kind of realize, hey, dial back on the goofiness a bit.
Yeah. Borderlands 2 was great. Borderlands 1 was pretty good. But yeah, we'll see what happens with this one.
Yeah, the first game I kind of like was like, all right, it's a release title for a whole, not release title, but like it's a whole new franchise. It's their launch title for this new flagship, so it's like change can be done. But I had fun with it. The second one, they were like, oh, we know what to do, and they fucking. So when I went into Borderlands 3, I was like, no way, there's no way they're gonna be able to beat the second one. There's no fucking way. I haven't played the full third one because I've been wanting to, but it's just when you play Borderlands by yourself, it's tough. Yeah. It's fucking tough. And obviously, as a person who sometimes I'm a little with certain games, I'm like, I don't know what the community is like because let's just say Call of Duty and Smite definitely did some numbers to me.
Right.
So sometimes in some communities, but then there's some communities that you just know going in, like for example, the Helldiver community, everybody is positive to each other. Occasionally you run into a dick, but guess what? That's life.
Yeah, it's Borderlands 3 was actually free on the PlayStation Network too for a little bit, so if you have PS Plus, you can play it free.
That's the one thing I kind of like about the Borderlands universe is that sometimes the universe is just sometimes creative, as well as also I do love the fact that Borderlands just makes fun of everything, or they just make their tributes.
Yeah. Ooh,
this is the side-scrolling revival beat 'em up that we need.
Yeah, Double Dragon Revive is now available for pre-order. Looks like it's going to release on 10/23/25. But yeah, looks like it's gonna be Double Dragon was big on the NES from back in the day. And then,
is it? Please tell me to keep the Jimmy Bimmy joke in.
No. I guess we'll find out. But yeah,
come on, you got, but do it something simple like here's Jimmy and Bimmy, and then they just pause and like delete it and just like correct it like here's Jimmy Bimmy.
Yep.
Billy and giant bold letters. Like, come on, have fun with your mistake.
Yeah, true. Apparently, that's gonna be coming. To be announced, obviously, Grand Theft Auto 6. They don't have
oh yes, for Grand Theft Auto 6, somebody looked at the car door that was on that cover there, those bullet holes. Someone tried to figure out that that's possibly Morse code. Which I was like, are you serious? I'm like, if they do that, and it turns out that person was right, first off, that person is never going to shut the fuck up for the rest of their natural life. But also, I'm like, I would be like, the whole entire time, the answer we were looking for is right in front of us the whole entire time. Same time. Yeah. I will say this, though. The only controversy I have with GTA for this one is the price tag. So far, some people are saying that it's possibly going to be $100, and a part of me is like, that's going to fucking suck. But a part of me is like, I need to finish the story. Just like with Cody Rhodes, I need to finish the story because allegedly this is going to be the last one. Which I'm like, I don't know, dude. If you're making a shit ton of money out of these games, I mean, hell, I recently finished GTA San Andreas on the definitive edition, and now I'm redoing Vice City. I mean, if the game is fucking good and it's making you money, you don't just kill off the golden goose or anything. But maybe sometimes that's a smart idea, is to preserve like how awesome the games are. Plus, the idea for this one that they're really going all in, like the size of the map is doubled, if not. Because everybody wants the final map for GTA to be all the maps combined, like Liberty City, Vice City, San Andreas, Los Santos. Which, yes, I know it's part of San Andreas, but in GTA 5 we just call it Los Santos. But the idea of that all those maps, because when we were growing up, when we played the original GTA 3 and GTA games, they were tiny fucking maps that we were thought, oh, these things are massive. Yeah. But today, like when I completed San Andreas recently and I went back to Vice City, I looked at Vice City map and I went, this thing is tiny.
Yeah.
This is nothing. But today, the fact that now today we have the technology where they're like, we can literally build a whole fucking world, like in Minecraft. We have a whole fucking globe.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
Correction, a square.
Yeah, this will be a big GTA 5. I am still playing on my PS4. Trying to get a couple trophies that I had to get a couple friends, or one more person to help us with. But
you mean the heists? Well, if you need another person, I have it on GTA 5. I mean, let me rewrite that. I have it on GTA 5 on the PS5, and I can definitely, that's great. Oh yeah, this is GTA 6. What the fuck was I thinking? I don't know.
Yeah, GTA 5 I have on one and we're trying. The one of the trophies is to also do like the rallies.
Oh, the driving shit.
Yeah, and they have to beat you have to beat a rally with as a passenger to lead the driver. So we're gonna try and do that one too, but eventually, this is a big one too. This is gonna be massive.
I need to finish the first one because I got a little bit of a history with Death Stranding. First of all, I'm a fan of Hideo Kojima. Yeah. I bought that game, the first game. Actually, my wife bought me the first game, which I appreciate the fuck out of. It's just I wanted to buy it mainly just to be like, Kojima, I support you leaving Konami and being your own person, and to most importantly flip off Konami saying you fucked up big time. I know a lot of people say, oh, it's a walking simulator. I'm just like, and some people have gone on to say like, oh, this predicted COVID, where we have a DoorDash delivery and this people go running around while we have other monsters and everything running around. But I still need to finish it because originally I was planning to just do like a live stream of it, and it unfortunately wasn't bringing a lot of people because once people hear that walking simulator thing, people kind of backed away, which is funny because today we have so many other simulators out there where it's just like, walking simulator just kind of fit out there. I will say this though, plus you have an all-star cast for these games. They don't skimp on, you got Norman Reedus, I remember in the first one, it was Del Toro, Mads on there. You had so many great people. The visuals were fucking amazing and crazy too. Plus also the idea of like a monster you can't see. Like you can only see their movement, like their footprints and their handprints. I always thought that was pretty fucking cool because I was just like, the idea of you can't see the enemy, but they can sense you. Yeah. So cool. I really need to finish that because that's the other thing, especially even though they say today, every time I love it when so many game developers are like, oh, we're planning to release it this year. I'm like, you're gonna do it in the fall. You're gonna do it during Christmas so you can get the most of the money. Stop teasing us. I'm like, I know legally you can't say the date, otherwise then people are gonna freak out, and it's like, well, you didn't make this date, so now we got to sue you for this, and it's just like, And again, another game that a lot of anticipation and people kind of freaked out because of the whole like, oh, it's a girl. They're trying to just do gender swap. It's like, guys, this takes place 300 years after the first game. If Jin was alive 300 years after the first events, I would be more concerned. Be like, you survived for 400 years. Well, 300 years. Well, 300 years, so like 350 years and whatever. But yes, but I will say this though. I kind of like this idea, especially since they're bringing in dual swords, guns, a lot of new hardware. So, plus, I also like the idea. But then there are some games. Sucker Punch, that was a crazy looking movie.
Yeah.
Not very often you see a Shogun with a chain gun. But moving on. But I will say this though, I do like some games where it's like, oh, this person's the ghost of Yushima. Then we have the ghost of Yota. I butchered the name. Yotoi.
Yeah, Yote. Something like that.
Yote. I suck with Japanese names. But if you
Yeah.
see my Let's Play videos, you see my pronunciation, you should know this by now. But I will say this, though. I like the idea that it's a title.
Mhm.
It's not bonded to one person. It's even Harrison Ford and Captain America New World, when they said, how do you feel about Captain America? He says, it's a title. It's
Yeah.
not bonded to one person. I like that belief. Because,
Right.
like, look at Spider-Man. We have so many other variations and alterations. It's like, guess what? It's a
Yep.
title. It's a person that can step up to face a foe or face this. I also remember doing some research after it's like 300 years. We're dealing with like the unification of Japan, so there's going to be some possible resistance and stuff.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I love Sucker Punch. That's one of my favorite
uh,
game studios of all time.
Sly Cooper, man.
Yep.
Sly fucking Cooper.
Yep.
Which, by the way, Sucker Punch, after you're done with Ghost of Yotai, or Yote, I'm never going to get it right. Yeah, can we get a HD remake or maybe another sequel or something? Because this game was fucking fun. I still play the fuck out of all of these games. I still own copies of these physical, digital. I own that game. I did a fucking live stream of PS3 Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. I fucking played those games, man.
Thieves. Yeah, they Honor Among Thieves, Thieves in Time was on the PS3, and that was pretty. I was gonna get it, I just haven't yet. I'm sad.
I thought it was a PSP game that they ported over because they did that for a while. Sony did like PSP games to try and get people to buy devices, and of course people didn't buy them, so then they ported the games over. But that was the one thing though, is that they just ported over. They didn't do like a lot of changes. They just ported it, and I was like, you guys didn't even upgrade the graphics. You guys kind of made it kind of painful to look at because that's what they did with the GTA stories, Liberty City Stories and Vice City Stories. All they did was just a port over. They just changed controls. That's all. And I'm like, this is kind of painful to look at, especially when you have a giant like fucking 1920 by 1080. Like, oh, we're doing 108K when a PSP wasn't capable of that tech.
Right.
But yeah,
Pokemon.
that's out of my turf. I didn't even finish Blue and Red when I was a kid.
Yeah, you got Gen 2 starters, Chikorita and Totodile, and then Black and White. I forget the name of the fire pig, Tepig.
I love the fact that people have been fighting to get Chikorita back in, not Chikorita, Cyndaquil. That's Cyndaquil.
Yeah, Cyndaquil in there, yeah.
Because people are like, am I a joke to you?
Yeah, this is a massive area too.
What's the name of this city? Did it say Limousine?
I don't know.
Can you scroll up a bit?
Yeah, Lumios.
Lumios. I thought it said Limousine. What's wrong with me?
Pokemon X and Y games. Yeah, it was in those. I haven't played past Gen 3, so I'm a little behind, but I'm gonna catch up eventually.
If they ported it over to the Switch as part of that fucking expansion stuff, they would get more fans. I'm just saying. I know they want to get as much money, but it's just it would promote, man. It would be internal promotion.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's gonna be a pretty big game too, so we'll see how that is.
I still remember the botches that they had when they launched that one game on the Switch to the point where people were calling them out. So I'm like, they better make this one work, otherwise it'll be sunk in the water. Fable.
Another Fable game.
But now, is this a completely like redoing from the beginning, or is this?
Let's see.
Because so far it looks like they're kind of leaning towards that, like a kind of like a full like
much information.
I will say this though, I know I've always repeatedly talked about this, but I loved the trailers for the first Fable game on Xbox, like the televised ads, like the idea of like showing like, oh, every action has a consequence to your karma and everything. I remember they had two commercials. One was good, one was evil. The good one was broadcasted more than the evil one, which I'm like, I can understand. The good commercial was there was a kid on the subway. He's just sitting there minding his business. He looks over, he sees someone pick a pocket, and then the light above him flickers, and you see him, he gets a little more grungy. And so he confronts the person, the light flickers again, he looks more grungy. And then the guy pulls a gun out, and he defeats the person, and the light flickers, and it's like, oh, it's holy light.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm like, that's actually a good advertisement. It was simple. It showed that every action has a consequence. The evil commercial I saw only once. I think it involved with the same person, but this time he took a person hostage and he became evil. But I don't know. I only saw it once. The good one they showed more often, which I was like, that's a good idea. But Fable was always a cool game because this was the game that kind of like started off the whole like games need a karma system,
Yeah,
which
but
not every game needs it, but if you can add it and you do it right, it's fucking awesome. But if we could do a new Nemesis system from the Shadow of Mordor, that would be an awesome system too. But unfortunately, Warner Brothers has a fucking copyright on that for a couple more years. So hopefully, after
really,
that drops, yeah, they
they
put Warner Brothers did something with the Nemesis system to the point where not many other games can use it.
yeah they canceled or they closed that studio that did the Mordor game. So we'll see what happens there. This
Eh,
one I'm excited for. Gears of War. It's a prequel.
E-Day. Yep. Again, another game that's like, well, I didn't play these. Well, congratulations, we're right from the start.
Yeah.
Especially
Uh,
since from seeing the footage of E-Day, this is where they came to the surface.
yeah.
Wow, Dom, you're young.
This is when
Whoa,
they originally
Marcus.
pop up. Yeah. Yeah.
Marcus, you were young.
This is gonna be a big one.
You have hair. No.
Let's see. 14 years before Gears of War 1.
And also, ladies and gentlemen, the voice actor for Marcus Phoenix is the same voice actor for Bender from Futurama.
Yep.
So that's right. Lucas. Bite his shiny metal ass.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. So that's gonna be a big one. I'm excited for Gears of War. I love Gears of War.
Because it was brutal. The chainsaw bayonet. I still remember that game with just like chainsawing someone, just hearing that. So many times in multiplayer, you're trying to strategize, you're trying to do something. As soon as you hear that, you immediate fear and panic happens. It's not even funny because as soon as you get chainsawed, there was no way to counter it. As soon as that you got hit by that, you're done.
Yep. Now they're making another Metroid Prime 4.
I barely know anything beyond the SNES game of Metroid.
You need. All right. Do you have a Switch?
I do, but I don't use it that often.
All right. I'm gonna tell you right now, just because Metroid Prime 1, incredible. It is incredible. One of the best Metroid Prime games of all time. Well, obviously, but it was remastered for the Switch. Pretty. It kind of explains the whole. It's basically giving you the backstory of Metroid,
Oh, cool. All right,
like
that's good.
why you're dealing with the Chozo, stuff like that. Like you see the Chozo things, and you learn different attacks and everything like that. It's really cool. So I
All I
would
know is
definitely, if you
giant
get a
bugs.
chance, yeah, if you definitely get a chance to play Metroid Prime, definitely play it. It's one of the best in the series.
So I'm assuming that's like the first one of the whole entire franchise. Because that's the other thing about the Metroid games that confused
Yeah.
me is they just like with Xboxes, they give it different titles each time. I'm just like, okay, where's the actual fucking first start?
So technically, if you want to start them in order, let's see.
Metroid.
I think the first game. Let's see. Yeah, Metroid Zero Mission is technically the first game.
And then it goes into Metroid Prime, and then
Yeah, Metroid Prime Hunters, which was a DS game, which didn't do very much. You got Echoes, Corruption, Prime Federation Force, which 3DS. Then you got Metroid 2, so all this takes place before Metroid 2, and then you have, Samus Returns, which is just basically a remake of Metroid 2. Super Metroid as after that, which is the one that a lot of people play.
yep, because it was very recognizable.
Yeah. Metroid Other M, which got terrible reviews too. Metroid Fusion, which was incredible. It was a Game Boy Advance game, but it was so good. And then the newest one before 4 comes out is Metroid Dread, which was a lot of people like that one too. Metroid Fusion and Metroid Prime came out at the exact same time. But yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah, Metroid Prime is set between Metroid and Metroid 2 and chronicles Samus's conflicts with malignant radioactive substance named Phazon. Yeah, and it just kind of is explaining a lot of stuff about the whole series. So if you get a chance, play this Metroid series. Metroid Zero Mission is basically is on Game Boy Advance. I think it came out on the Switch. Yeah, it's on the Switch. Nintendo Switch expansion pack for the Game Boy Advance. So if you have it, it's pretty fun. It's not bad. It's easy to play too.
Mm-hmm.
Arc 2. I didn't play Arc. Never played Arc.
Open world stuff, man.
Yeah. I watched Achievement Hunter play it. Never played it myself, so Don't really know much about it. Judas, not uh,
Uh,
Chris Jericho.
Bioshock creator. Yeah, not Fozzy, but it's from the developers of Bioshock. So I'm like, sold.
Yeah, Ghost Story Games.
I mean,
Uh,
just look at it. If it doesn't scream Bioshock to you, it's just look at
yeah,
it. It's got the
yeah. It's
same energy.
Ken Levine, creative director of System Shock 2, Bioshock, and Bioshock Infinite, which I still have to play System Shock 1 and 2.
Well,
But
System
yeah,
Shock 2, I think, is getting a remaster remake, so you
yep,
can definitely hold off on that. So,
yeah,
I mean, like, wait till it gets released.
Yeah, I think System Shock 2 is out now.
I know the original. I know System Shock. Like they
Yeah,
made a remaster of the first one, like a complete brand.
yeah, they have the
But
enhanced
it's like,
edition.
yeah,
But
so at least it'll run.
yeah, um,
But yeah, it's a
there it
nice
is.
little cyberpunk.
Yeah, yeah, System Shock 2 25th anniversary master comes out June 25th. So it's yeah, about 20-30 bucks, but I'm gonna buy on PS4 obviously. Or not PS4, PS5 obviously, but Wolf Among Us, never played it. Never played the first one. I know about them, but I have never played them.
I just did The
Telltale
Walking
Games.
Dead from Tall Tale.
Yeah.
Which I mean, don't get me wrong, they know how to write a story.
Yeah.
That because that was the one thing I kind of liked about Telltale. They're like, okay, the game mechanics are pure point and click basic system, but the
Yeah.
stories were just like, holy shit! You could see where their energy went into, and
Yeah.
that was that. And I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah, Telltale, I about to say, died a few years back, and then all of a sudden they're coming back. So see how that works out.
Yeah,
Let's see, Crimson Desert, which I've never heard of.
I feel
Um,
like that's isn't that a Japanese or some?
it
It's like it
is.
sounds reminiscent, but it's like something's clicking, but it ain't clicking.
Yeah. Let's see. Story is open world action adventure. Uh, continent embroiled for war. Challenges, calamities, stuff through the land, stuff like that. Looks kind of like I don't know. Looks
Oh,
different.
big ugly thing.
Yeah. Looks like a lot of stuff coming. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, uh,
Mm-mm.
I don't know. Let's see. Next is John Carpenter's Toxic Commando horror movie.
That one. I'm definitely has like a lot of Left 4 Dead energy, which after Back for
Yeah.
Blood, I think a lot of people are looking at this with a high standard. But John Carpenter knows how to do good music and has a. I mean, John Carpenter also did fucking a lot of horror movies, so this is
Yeah.
kind of his energy. But it definitely has that energy of like Left 4 Dead. I mean,
Hmm.
giant hordes. I mean, honestly, I want to go into it because this looks kind of fucking cool.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah, I haven't done much of that. Wu Chang, Fallen Feathers. Oh, it doesn't have anything apparently.
Souls like set in it's China.
Yeah.
That's gonna be pretty cool.
Little Nightmares 3.
Wu Chang. I think I know what game you're
Yeah.
talking about. Because I use a lot of Souls S games. Also, kind of like be like, all right, what happened during this era? Because I mean, I did Black Myth, which was pretty cool to study on Chinese mythology, followed by then Eliza P for like steampunk.
Yep.
Oh, Little Nightmares is seeing another game. Cool.
Yeah, I didn't. I played the first one. I was playing through the second one a little bit because they both came on PlayStation Plus for free. So PlayStation Plus games have been pretty good. But yeah, I haven't caught up. We'll see how this goes. I didn't think they were gonna make another Little Nightmares because the first one didn't do very well, and then all of a sudden it was like Little Nightmares 2 came out, and everybody started playing Little Nightmares 1 again. So we'll see.
Not to mention, also, it's a pretty visual trip too. I mean, like when you make the
Yeah.
game mechanics simple and you can put more time into story and visuals, it's kind of like it's a gamble, but if you can fucking do it, you can fucking do it. Like remember Limbo? That game was a
Yeah.
simplistic game itself. Very simple controls of jump, this, that, but the mystery behind it, the artwork behind it, it fucking clicked.
Yep. Apparently they're making another House of the Dead or they're doing a House of the Dead 2 remake.
I still remember playing that game in the arcade.
Yep.
So many quarters pumped into that damn machine.
So we'll see how that's gonna be. That might be good.
I
Let's
mean,
see. Is good.
no, I was gonna say if you can figure out another way to do the light gun a little better, then or bring back the light gun energy, then yeah.
Right. Let's see. 2025 hype. Yeah, that's about it. I mean that's all the hype ones come out this year. So Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of games coming out this year. A lot of wrestling coming up this year. That's gonna be big. I think we'll
And I
see.
mean, plus wrestling games can be even more. There's also some other games that like, man, I forgot some of them. What are they called? Ultra Pro Wrestling is one of them. The Wrestling
Yeah,
Code. There's a lot of indie games out there that are on this list. But that's not the other thing too. It's like, for example, with like 2K games, with people creating their own WWE games. I mean, the Island of Relevancy is now kind of like a gamble, at least right now in the console version, where people can have our own little world where we can wrestle and all sorts of stuff like that. But also with creations like right now for wrestling, especially video games, I am part of a wrestling group online. It's called RCL Wrestling.
yeah,
It is run by. I'm just gonna throw it in the chat real quick, just to kind of give you guys that cool. Especially since right now, I'm just gonna. Am I allowed to throw links in the
yeah.
chat, or is it okay? I'm just gonna throw this in the chat right now because this is a tag team match featuring a tag team I'm on called All Out Assault. We're kind of like, think of the NWO and D-Generation X, and also we've been the tag team champs for a long ass time. But yes, so the coolest part about it is like this little wrestling. We have our own little wrestling cool stuff where you create a character, you can wrestle for actually be put on the roster, fight for titles, stuff like this. I recommend it. It's really fucking awesome, especially if you're like, I want to get into pro wrestling, but I want to live.
Right,
Yeah, I want to be able to fight and win a title, but I kind of like having the ability to be able to use both my legs.
right, exactly. I
So
agree.
check us. So yeah, check out that link. Check out the video. Yeah, check out the our RCL wrestling group because there is a Discord. Definitely. Now the person running it, Grayson Plays Gaming, does an awesome job. So I recommend it. People go check it out. There's a lot of wrestling matches. There's a lot of promos. We have to. There's also a Discord server where you can be part of this. You can do your own promos. You call out all this, that. I recommend it, especially if you're a fan of pro wrestling. This is like the closest you can get without like stepping in the ring because I have actually on TikTok watched videos from like wrestling trainers and they explain exercises. Because yeah, fun fact about those ropes, people. Those ropes aren't like rubber. That's like running in a power lines. That's a piece of metal under. It's a piece of metal with a very thin piece of plastic. So when you see people bounce off of it, it isn't like, oh, I'm going to bounce off it like it's rubber. Nope, you're bouncing off a piece of metal, which is very impressive because Braun Breaker can run up to like 26 miles per hour with his super spear of running that fast. Which I'm like, dude, wow.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, especially he speared I Show Speed, and even I Show Speed is like, it hurt. All right, it hurts. And I'm like, again, people who say wrestling's fake. Look at that. It's all fun and games until you get fucking smacked.
Right. Yep, I agree. But yeah, I want to thank you again for being on this episode. I know we did different, so we'll see. We did some news, and then we started getting right into it. And I'll definitely put that link in the description when I actually put this live. I'm working on. I'll be editing this one, another one, and one after the before that all together. So this will be a little bit of time between episodes, but it'll be all right. And you're on. Are you back on Twitch now?
I do Twitch, yes, but I also do. I kind of do like when I stream because of Streamlabs. I do pay the monthly thing, so I multi-stream to. I'll throw it in the links. I'll throw in the links right now into the chat. So just there's the Twitch link. Let me grab my YouTube stuff. I'm not plugging or promoting or anything. It's just watching me just shove stuff into the chat. Like I'm not doing any of this.
Right. Yeah, you're good.
But yeah, this is all this stuff because honestly.
Yep.
And this is and oh nice. Let me just grab that. Here's the TikTok as well. So yes, there's all that. I prefer those three websites because there's the most activity. I mean, YouTube is not going away. That's a staple of the fucking internet for videos. Twitch, I won't lie, Twitch is really good, but they definitely need to make some changes, especially since they've yet to pull in a profit since Amazon acquired them. God knows how many years ago, and that was a $1 billion investment that they've yet to pull in any profit from it. Which I'm like, that's a pretty big hole in the pocket. I mean, I know $1 billion to Amazon is like 2 cents, but
yeah.
You still don't want to be like, aren't you running a company that's losing this amount of money? It just doesn't sound right.
Right, exactly.
And TikTok, honestly, I thought the ban would have, because allegedly April is when the ban's supposed to go into place, but I've still have not heard any word about it, or maybe a billionaire did put a bid in on it. We just don't know who's getting the keys until later. But TikTok, I definitely enjoy. YouTube, I use YouTube for watching a lot of videos, still like documentaries and stuff like that. Twitch is pretty cool. TikTok I use for short format, but sometimes just streaming is also on there pretty cool because a lot of people do retro games on there. That's the other thing is I feel like there's going to be a resurgence of okay, and there's some bear with me one moment. I got this because I've dealt with these punks all my life. Oh yeah, spam, scam.
Yeah.
It's a bot.
Power. There you go.
Yeah, it's a bot. Submit report. Block user. Done.
Yeah, I just banned them easy.
That's the other thing too. Is like with Twitch, I've not noticed any bots.
Yeah.
Like no push, no this, none of that. But with Twitch, not even on YouTube, I've not met any bots or anything for a while. Usually they just contact via the business email, and then I can just kind of tell them like thanks, but no thanks.
Right.
But that's the thing. Twitch just needs to make some changes. Because, I mean, they're just banking on the idea of like, oh, we got these celebrities. I'm like, that can only go so far. Yeah. Eventually, you're gonna have to actually do some other work.
Yep.
I still remember a while back when the CEO tried to go for the partnership program, and he didn't get picked up on it. I'm like, that's a bad message when the owner got pushed away.
Yep, exactly. But I want to thank you again for being on here, and thank you for taking your time to show up when I was a little late to the stream. So. But yeah, we're definitely Madman. Actually, today is March 22nd. So Madman's gonna go live here in a little bit. So
yeah, probably around like 10 p.m. or maybe a little bit later. Just got some other stuff I need to do real quick, but we will be doing 2K25. I did finish the showcase, so we got the quote unquote My Rise, the story mode per se.
Okay.
But first I actually need to make my character, so that's gonna be a fun maybe hour and a half. That's the other thing too, is like you've seen an evolution through these wrestling games. Making a move list was like, oh, it was this simple. Now it's like, okay, what is the move to do if the person's arm is at this slight of an angle compared to this slight? I'm like, can't I just pick them up and throw them?
Right, exactly. So, well, thank you all for watching, and soon in the future we'll have another episode, possibly after March Madness is done. Maybe we'll have a couple of my buddies hop on and talk about a little March Madness and see who wins and who didn't. So, thank you all for watching, and have a great rest of your night.